Good evening. So recently I was very fortunate to win the Duke's Dozers gift card from Simon Dennis's charity raffles over the winter. And he does that every year. It's a really awesome thing that Simon Dennis does for the food bank in his local area with a bunch of musky guys, and it's really cool. And there's awesome prizes. And I was tickled to death when I A, won, because if you know me, you will know that I am the least lucky person that anyone knows. And B, that Duke's Dozers gift card was still available when it came up to be my turn. So I was more than happy to collect on that because I have some of his baits already. I know that he does really good work and his stuff is so quality. So my gain is also your gain. And I'm going to kind of run down his models because I was very fortunate. Like, we kind of worked on some things together. To preface this, some of these colors are going to look very similar, and there's a reason for that. So Duke uses a very particular skirt material that allows it to glow in the dark. So I don't do a ton of night fishing, but it's always something that is available to me. It's nice to know that if I do ever do some, then I'll have this as glow tinsel or whatever. And then on top of that, those of you who know, like, some of the waters that I fish can get pretty stained in the fall transition time. So it's not a terrible thing to have something that glows or sticks out a little bit more. But with all that said, I think it's time to dive right in. I have, through acquiring baits from Duke himself and from the giveaway, I have the whole lineup. So we're going to go over the whole lineup, and then at the end I'm going to show you how you can customize your own. I have a kind of a walkthrough tutorial as to how you can go on his website, create your own giant spinnerbait in the colors, the glow material, the regular tinsel, whatever you want to do. Like, the options are legitimately endless, and it's so easy and so cool to do. But let's talk about baits. That's why you're all here. So we're gonna start big and work our way small. This is the D12 model. So this thing is just an absolute monstrosity. I love it. I don't know how often I'll throw it. I'll probably troll it. I'll probably throw it some too. I threw his baits a fair amount in the fall. Like, this bait is so big, I'm having trouble getting it all in the frame of the thing. But I was saying, I'm having trouble getting it all in the frame. But I start this off with some pearl black. I've got some Riddler in the middle there to give it some body, and then a pearl black finish to kind of give it a Cisco-y kind of tail. It's just one of those things where usually running a bait this big, I'm going to be running it in kind of dingier water. But the smoked copper blades, if you know me, you know that's kind of my go-to combo. I'll try and keep those quiet so I don't have to talk over them the whole time. But smoked copper, really hard to beat. Really incredible bait. This thing is meant for some of the biggest fish out there. The really nice thing that Duke does too is he's got just absolute, killer wire, killer components. This stuff is just, it's gonna hold up to the biggest fish out there. No questions asked. And the coolest thing about it is you can make your own color with it, which I'll show you how to do here in a little bit. But another thing that I appreciate about Duke is he puts quality components on his bait. So this is the one that came with, I don't know if it was the D10 or the D12, but this is I think this is either a three times strong mustad or a VMC high carbon. I don't know for certain which. I did not ask him. I probably should have before I did this, but we're just winging it here tonight, having a good time. So that is the D12. That's the biggest model that he makes, a 12 and a 10 blade. If you really want to torture yourself and put in some serious hours, yeah, go grab yourself one of them. All right, kind of the next one that I made really had that fall transition that we have here in mind. So I've got a D10, I've got a chartreuse blade up top. I've got a lot more Riddler in this one. I think this is 3 skirts, whereas the D12 is 4. So I mean, you could really get wild with the D12 if you wanted. But so this one's got 3 skirts in it. It's just got a lot of color to it. I think that green and the pearl black undertones really it really makes it stick out. So this thing is just, my idea was kind of have a chartreuse-ish lead on it. Still, this is the glow material. All of mine are glow. If you don't like the glow, there are plenty of options outside the glow. I just think it's unique to Duke, and I kind of wanted to do him the service of highlighting that glow material. Pun intended on that one. Okay, so we're down to the D9s. And then we'll get into some of the ones that I was able to run a bit last year. But the D9s are the next one down on the list, and I was able to acquire 2 of them. And I had 2 thoughts in mind with these. So with these 2, I had kind of a clearer water design in mind and a dirtier water design in mind, especially because the D9 I think will be fairly easy to cast, fairly easy to utilize in the water. Again, I did the Joker or the Riddler on top, pearl black on the bottom. I love the pearl black. It just really brings out some of those other tones within the bait itself, which I think that the light is actually kind of doing it justice, because it doesn't overpower anything and it brings out what's underneath, and I really like that. So with this D9, this is kind of the louder model, the more obnoxious model. This one I did a single skirt with, because this one I was thinking more for deeper open water type situations, trolling even potentially, whereas this one I was thinking more for up shallow in the weeds, Canadian rocks, all those things. And the nice thing as well with all of Duke's blades is he always puts a little hook hanger guy. It wasn't on that one. On this one it has one, because that other one was meant more for the weeds and stuff. But he always puts a little hook hanger guy there. So if you're trolling it or casting it and you want to add another hook, it's very easy to do. This one is the Hyper Perch. So we got the Hyper Perch with the black pearl underneath. And again, I really feel like that black pearl brings out some of those more oranges and some of those other tones within the Hyper Perch. It's gonna be great. It looks awesome, especially in some of that stained water. I think that bait will just absolutely excel. All right, so now we're getting down to some of his smaller models, a couple of which I ran. I ran the D8 last year, a fair amount, especially in the fall. It did really, really well. I thought it ran really well. I didn't, in all transparency, I didn't have any action on it. I probably didn't run it quite enough to get the action it deserved, but at the same time, it did really, really well for me. Running wise, it puts off a very unique grind. It's something a little different profile wise when a lot of people around you are throwing bucktails or whatever. Spinnerbaits can be the ticket sometimes. And what I really like about the profile of the D8 is it is different. So like when I'm throwing a growler, I'm trying to do something different with the growler than I would if I was throwing one of Duke's spinnerbaits. So I don't know. I think of the growler as more of a chatterbait than a spinnerbait, whereas these are just more your classical kind of spinnerbaits. I really love this color. It's just gonna be awesome on the clear water that I fish. Smoke black and copper again, and this is just pearl black and pearl black. That is just a juicy color there. Looks like crappies, looks like Cisco's, looks like, I don't know. I'm sure that the fish are gonna eat it. It's kind of like a take on the classic skunk pattern that Mayhem used to make. I caught so many nice fish on that pattern up in Wisconsin. So this just reminds me of that in every way, and I dig it. So yeah. Next on the list and on down the line, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here, folks. But we've got the Woo Banger. So the double willow. I kind of did this one with just kind of a black head with a black Cisco kind of vibe to it. I have a couple of growlers in a similar color to this that I really like, so I just kind of went with Duke's take on that type of color, type of vibe. So yeah, just a double willow, just something a little different, probably something easier for people to just throw all day, people who aren't quite as familiar with some of these big baits, you know, if you go and hand someone like a D10, they're probably gonna not really, they're probably gonna have some questions for you. But at the same time, I think, you know, it's just all about the tools for the job and the applications. I just feel very fortunate and blessed to have the whole lineup now, to where, yeah, to where I can just really do it wherever, and use whatever tool I need to for the job. Another one that he does, this is the mini dozer, so this is like his fluted bladed model. I really like this one. Again, you'll notice this one's got like Cisco, and then he's got some of that pearl black in it again, and it looks great. It's gonna be a killer in the mid-spring time. Just absolutely, yeah, I love that color. Clearly, most of them, if not all of them, have that color in it just because I think it really adds and plays well. It looks like a lot of things at once without looking really like anything, and I think that makes for the best musky lures. He also included some cool decals for me, so those are dope. I'll have to find, I'm running out of space on the musky mug. I'm gonna have to figure out a place to put those on. So two things before I let you all go. One of them being that I did also pick up a toddy tickle bait from a Warhammer from Duke as well. These things are awesome. He has a limited supply available. If these trip your trigger, make sure to shoot him a message. I know that there were some giant fish caught on these in the larger model last year. He also has some rover baits in stock too, that he makes dozer blades for. That's the one thing in the lineup that I don't have is one of his dozer blades in particular. These things are really cool. The detail is just incredible. This purchase came at the behest of Quinn, who was in a video recently from the Northwoods. He really likes his swim baits, and he's like, because I shared this to my story, I think. He's like, that looks cool. It's like, all right, see what I can do. Hopefully I can get you one. There's a good, I think this was the last one in that color when I messaged Ben about that. So anyway, that is the lineup. All the cool things. The future is very bright for Duke's Dozers, I think. I think that these blades are going to be a lot harder to get your hands on here in the near future. And the Glow series, I think, is definitely doing something that not a lot of people out there offer. So before I let you go, the last thing is, if you go into his website, it's pretty easy to figure out how to run down all of the things in order to make your own custom dozer blade. You go to the shop icon, you click on it, then it's going to bring up all of the models that he offers throughout the website. So you can see, as I'm just kind of going through here, I'm going to pick one, and then as I pick that one, it's going to populate the colors that you are going to want to pick from, and then from that, what's going to happen is you go and you pick your colors of the skirt. It's going to ask you for the weight. It's going to ask you for the blade size. I mean, everything is going to be completely tailored to your specifications. The only thing is, with the Glow series, there are slightly less color options because of the limited dynamic of the Glow tinsel material. So the website is super easy to navigate. Duke has done a really good job of making sure that everything is very easy for everyone out there to access to build their own custom spinnerbait. As far as custom spinnerbaits go, Duke has allowed me an offer code to share with you to build your own custom spinnerbait using my code. It will be linked in the description below. As I'm recording this, I do not know what it is. When I edit it, hopefully I will know, and then I'll put it in the thing. But as of right now, me recording, I don't know what it is. So it will be below, and it will be in the description. Use that to build your own spinnerbait. That helps me because then Duke knows that people watch my videos. It helps Duke because then he knows where he's getting traction from and can better navigate the market of his own business. So really, everybody wins. I'm not getting anything from it other than every now and then Duke will shoot me a bait, but outside of that, you know, it's just two guys that believe in what one another are doing, who are working together, which is pretty much what I do with everyone. So when people start paying me, I'll make sure to let all of you know. But it hasn't happened yet, and don't really anticipate it happening in the future. But anyway, with all that said, can't thank Ben Duke enough for, you know, allowing me to utilize all of these tools. You know, being able to have the whole lineup, the whole gamut, knowing that they have caught some serious fish in the past 2 years and will continue to do so. So if you'd be so kind, you know, check out Ben's stuff. He's an awesome dude, veteran run business. It's really neat. So spring is right around the corner. There will be more tackle talks on the way. I'm looking forward to getting up to Wausau for a little bit and hopefully networking with some people there. But with all that said, I appreciate every single one of you checking this out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.